Well, um, seems like there's another Kanye West situation that's going on. As far as I know, it's something that has to do with a festival in the UK he was supposed to perform at, and now hearing that he is banned, for whatever reason. It's probably because of old stuff that he said in the past, and they're not letting him do it no more, or whatever it may be. But I'm gonna just react to this Fantano video, get a better understanding of what's going on, and yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Yay Show, where we talk about all things Yay. And I'm your host, Anthony Fantano. Now, of course, recently,
That was a lot in that intro, Fantano.
I and all of you in the comments have had a lot to say about the recent Ye album, Bully. But rarely does an album cycle from this man go by where the discussion is limited simply to the music. Not just due to the antics in the lead up to the album, but in this case also the aftermath. And given the absolute tear Ye was on over the last couple of years with the Heil stuff, F Virgil, Free Diddy, Jay-Z's kids, a couple of serious allegations against him. Basically,
Can we just act like that didn't happen? Well, we kind of have been.
everything you've seen me talk about on this channel. But recently, after a couple of very public attempts at atonement, Ye has noticeably been behaving quite a lot more. The tirades and the outbursts have pretty much stopped, and it's allowed him to get back to a place where Bully did pretty respectable first week numbers.
And it's kind of scary because it's just like, with the album name being called Bully, you would probably expect him to be on his more, like, be talking even crazier. But this is actually the most calmest Kanye we've seen in a while. But what are the odds that the album was called Bully? You know what I'm saying? Imagine he dropped a quote-unquote album called Bully in like 2000, like what? Like 20, what, it was like 2021, bro? Nigga, oh, hell no. That shit would have gone crazy.
And he's even performing in America again, most recently in LA, where he not only pulled off a pretty massive stadium performance without a hitch, though I will say many of the clips
I've been seeing some of the clips too, bro. They look so fire. And I just hate the fact that he's just doing these shows away from where I'm at. Come to Boston, Kanye, please.
that I saw seemed a little low energy. And at this show, it seemed like the Ye fans were definitely having a normal one.
How do you get on top of that?
But notably, there was a star-studded guest list of creators from numerous lanes who were ready to come out and show support for Ye
Paul Pierce? That's so random.
as he is trying to pivot once again back into the mainstream in a way that hopefully is more sensible. Again, the list of names is too large to go over every single individual on it, but of course you had Dave Chappelle, Rod Wave, and Lauryn Hill, who performed with Ye live there, to name a few.
Really?
And for a lot of people, this has been enough.
I feel like I'm not seeing these news, like the news about Kanye West as much, bro. Like I have to like usually if I scroll through IG, I usually figure out some shit's going down. And I feel like I don't be seen on my IG page. It's usually when I go on YouTube and I look at my recommended videos where I get more stuff, especially about Ye specifically. I don't know if it's my algorithm bugging, but that's just me.
To kind of confirm that Ye is like slowly undoing his cancellation. Also adding to this sentiment the fact that the UK's Wireless Festival recently announced that he is going to be like the 3-day headliner for the fest this year. But whoa, hey, stop, pause, pump the brakes. Because, I don't know, even for somebody like me who is super freaking cynical when it comes to cancellations and cancel culture, because I don't see companies and capitalists as moral actors. Like, whenever they decide to work or not work with a particular individual who might have a sort of dicey or controversial past, it's always done out of a calculation around profit and whether or not associating with that person will hurt their brand and make them less money in the long run. And undoubtedly, there are a lot of companies who will line right up to line Ye's pockets.
That is facts. That is all facts.
So long as they are allowed to be a middleman between him and his audience as he sells and pitches them whatever it is that he's throwing out there with these companies. But still, even knowing that, I thought this announcement for that festival with this particular lineup of sponsors, especially Pepsi, was pretty premature. Like, I know a lot of Ye's fan base is still intact at this point, but damn. But as it turns out, the actual story here might be crazier, because now multiple sponsors for the fest are pulling out.
Pepsi, have withdrawn their funding, while Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called the booking deeply concerning. Yeah, they don't forgive you, my nigga.
Like, you're a fairly large music festival out of the UK. Like, did you nail down the sponsors before you decided what the lineup was fully gonna be? Or did you not think to, like, clear with the people who are giving you the money to make the festival possible that, hey, this guy who recently was rapping and singing about sucking off his cousin and thinks Hitler is pretty cool. Yeah, that guy is going to be the headliner. I mean, I'm sure there was some kind of contractual obligation there, and we don't know what behind the scenes some of these companies like Pepsi had to do to break themselves out of this agreement. But again, apparently a bunch of them are saying sayonara, and so it begs the question, where is the public perception of Ye going right now? Now, again, from my
It's not going to the UK.
perception, if these companies saw associating with Ye as a safe monetary bet, no doubt many of them would still go ahead and do it. And I don't think associating with Ye, commercially speaking, will forever never be okay. But I don't think the functional range within which this man's career can be relaunched is like only a year out from the HH song. I'm sorry, but like doing it that...
Yeah, that shit literally came out like a year ago, gang. It's crazy how time flies, bro.
soon feels a bit like running...
Like, just last year, he was wearing that all black, like, KK... I can't even say it on YouTube. I'll put KK shit on, like the all black with the DJ Academics video. That was just like, at least there was no more than 2 years since that video dropped. But damn.
Or, the gun goes off at the starting line. And I'm sorry, for as acceptable as the music on Bully was for the most part, none of it was good enough to erase the past couple of years. And again, this isn't to say like Ye should never be understood or forgiven, or that, his mental health struggle should never, be brought into the context of this conversation. But like, keep in mind, this man has taken back certain statements, or apologized, or attempted to walk things back, or attempted to, get...
The biggest problem is, though, like it says right here, he has a long history of apologizing for his behavior. Meaning, he's used to just doing shit after he apologized. I can't remember exactly what he did one time, but I definitely remember. I think he apologized about the Jew shit, and then you went right back at it, too, so...
back on a good track before. If this was a one-time isolated thing that happened very quick, very fast, in a very singular sort of fashion, maybe a faster track to letting it go could be understandable. But no, it was not an isolated one-time thing, and this man has a history of being very inconsistent. Again, I'm glad that he seems to be in a better, more stable state now, but that's not a guarantee that is also going to be the case 3 months from now.
That is... It's scary, but true.
And I think companies, promoters, anybody really is well within their right to look at the past few years and say, you know what? That's enough to turn me off forever. Or the HH stuff, which he has seemed apologetic for, is just one slice of the overall pie that I'm taking issue with. Or it's too damn soon, and I don't know whether or not to trust this man keeping himself together at this point. Because I think for a lot of people who have stuck with Ye for a long time, through all the highs and the lows, the roller coaster...
We need good behavior from Kanye West for at least 2 years. And maybe, just maybe, he could perform at the Super Bowl. I think he would have one of the best performances ever, in my opinion. But
coaster ride. It sort of felt like these past few years really took things to a breaking point. Now, with many of the sponsors here dropping like flies, you might start to wonder, is Ye actually going to be able to follow through as the headliner for this festival? And as far as the promoter is concerned for Festival Republic, this thing is 100% still on. And he's made a public statement saying that he's basically not turning away from Ye in this moment. And while he does
Oh,
also make a very personal and compelling case, given those in his own personal life who have also suffered from mental illness, as that's what many people are now like kind of boiling many of Kanye's meltdowns down to. He says that he himself finds the rhetoric Ye was engaging in over the past few years offensive, but makes, in my eyes, what's really a false equivalence, saying that, well, Ye's music is available to stream and download and consume on the internet in this country, so why shouldn't he be allowed to play this?
kind of got a point. It's like if his music is not banned to stream in your country, you might as well perform in that motherfucker too.
Festival for 3 nights. And I'm not exactly sure that's the same thing, especially given historically
Kind of not, but hey,
how Ye can be kind of unpredictable in a live setting. Look, at this point, I don't have a crystal ball when it comes to any of this stuff. And when it comes to an artist of Ye's size doing what he did over the past couple of years, ruining his career in the fashion that he has, we are very much in pretty uncharted territory. Like, however this plays out, it's not going to be according to anything we've experienced before, I think. And while I do think Ye controlling himself and getting back to a point of some normalcy in the music world in terms of his presence truly being accepted and understood once again, I don't think it's impossible, but right now it's definitely premature. Because even if there are artists and fans out there who still very much mess with Ye, money talks in the music industry, and if the sponsors are not willing to step up and put the money forward to make certain things happen for artists like Ye who require a certain level of production and support because he is such a huge figure, it's hard to see how growing his career from here would be all that sustainable. And I think I'm going to leave.
um, if y'all think Kanye West is not going to perform, let me know who you think should replace him. Um, hopefully he's forgiven. I just really hope that Ye just changes for good, bro. Like, there's no more of this hate speech about this and that and the third. Like we already went through like probably like maybe like 10 years, 8 years of this already. I don't even know. But let me know what y'all think. Um and yeah, bro, you almost like a Life of Pablo tour, bro. Unforgivable. Well, I forgive you, but still unforgivable.